Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager with the weekly Fireside Chat. Otto is here. Only God knows if he'll stay the entire time. I am, by the way, very touched at the number of people I meet across the country, and for that matter, elsewhere as well, like in Denmark recently, who also comment on Snoopy. These are very serious watchers of the Fireside Chat. So, to review, Fireside Chats are spontaneous thoughts that I might have that I'd like to share with you and then take your questions. I'd like to talk to you about a difficult subject. Actually, ironically, the subject is about difficulty. I don't know if it's a difficult subject, but difficult will definitely play a role in what I have to say to you. The sooner you know in life that life is difficult, the happier a person you will be. That's what I want to say a few things about. Life is difficult is not a lament. It is not a complaint. It is a fact. Everything worthwhile is difficult. Let's say I was the coach of a soccer team and I would address the players before the season and say, I just want you to know, it is difficult to play soccer well. Every single player would think, of course. Why is the coach saying that? So we apply this to everything. Can you think of something worthwhile that isn't difficult? You can't. So why should life be easy? Life is the cumulative effect of all of this. And I mention it because I believe that for at least 3 generations in American life, many of you are listening outside of America, this may or may not apply to you. I think the wealthier your country, the more it applies to you. But in any event, I can speak best about the society. I know best, America. I think for 3 generations, a lot of American parents have tried to make life as easy as possible for their children, as much as possible to eliminate pain. And they've done their children such a disservice that they have sort of crippled them for the rest of their lives. The earlier you know that it is not easy life, that life is difficult, the better it is. It's sort of like psychological and moral antibodies. If you expose a child to absolutely no virus, your child will be sick the rest of his or her life. You have to develop antibodies. So it's actually a good thing to be exposed to viruses. Not fatal viruses, obviously, but generally speaking. You are then capable of dealing with more viruses, and life is like that. We talk about the helicopter parent. What is the helicopter parent? The helicopter parent is constantly hovering, like a helicopter, over the life of the child, making sure that the child experiences as few difficulties and as little pain as possible. I have to say, if there's such a thing as a helicopter parent, my parents, what is the opposite of a helicopter? I'm not sure there's an opposite to a helicopter. But to say that my parents did not hover over my life is to understate the case, and thank God they didn't. I remember one of my father's constant lines when my mother would, for example, say something like, you know, it's cold out. I grew up in a very cold climate in the Northeast in the United States. And during the winter it was very cold. And she would say, you know, before I went out to play ball, for example, put on a jacket and put on get a bit of muffler or whatever she would say. And my father would go, "What are you going to do? Keep him in a china closet?" By the way, just for the record, I had no idea what a china closet was. And I thought it was a closet made in China. And I thought, what does that mean? Only later did I realize China is, expensive dishes and the like. And you can't raise your kid in a china closet. Your kid is not a delicate dish. Your kid should not be, my father was right, should not be in a china closet. What is worse come to worse? If I let's say I got a cold, or I got sick even because it was too cold. By the way, generally speaking, that isn't why people get sick from cold. It's sort of what they used to call an old wives' tale. But it doesn't matter. What matters is, I thank God my parents were not helicopter parents. In fact, I was on my high school basketball team. And by the way, just for the record, I think I've noted this only because I was so tall. I was 6'4" already in high school. And because I was not in a wheelchair, I made the team. I had no talent, but I did have height. And I only tell you this because my parents, I think, came to one game in my entire high school career. And this will really shock a lot of you because a lot of young people watch this. I didn't want my parents to come to my basketball games. And I can tell you why. I remember what my thinking was. And I'm not saying I was right. If you would like your parents to see you play basketball, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just explaining what a different attitude might be and still work out. I thought, I'm more of a man if my parents aren't there to cheer me on. That's the way I thought. And I wanted very much, and I was not alone. I think it was more common when I grew up, and certainly more common when my parents grew up, for a boy to think, I want to be a man. And girls too, obviously not to be a man, but they wouldn't so much think I want to be a woman as I want to be a grown-up. There was a real desire in all through history for kids to want to be grown-ups. That's not true today. People want to stay children because to be a grown-up is to take responsibility and to be responsible for what you get wrong and to rely on yourself as much as you can. That's not popular today. The helicopter parent is doing damage to his or her child. Do they mean well? Yes. But you know what? Meaning well is as important as shoe size. Not important, in case the point was not clear. Because very few people mean ill. Very few people mean to do bad. That is why, by the way, wisdom is everything. Wisdom doesn't ask, do you mean well? Wisdom asks, what works? What will do well? Not whether you mean well. That's what wisdom is about. And the non-teaching of wisdom is a catastrophe. So it's very important that you understand life is difficult. Big tech censorship continues to be a big problem for PragerU, so it's more important than ever that our audience watches our content on our platform. To continue watching this episode of the Fireside Chat, go to PragerU.com or download the PragerU mobile app today.